we're going to finish up by talking about debugging. Now, okay, I'm a bit old school, I admit it, and I'm a bit stuck in my ways. So here's how I tend to debug stuff, especially when dealing with Node. Now, as I've mentioned, I'm using Sublime Text. It's a text editor, not an IDE. If I want to quickly debug something, I often find myself just outputting stuff on the console. So if I wanted to look at that object, for instance, and see what I've got there. In Node, if you want to bring things to a close, you have to type in this command, process.exit. And that's the correct way to bring any script to a halt. Let's try that. So what that console log has told me is that whatever I've got there is a function, and then the process has stopped. If I remove the process, save and run again, but there you go. It tells me about the function, but carries on executing and outputs my random number. A lot of people will tell you this is not the best way to do it, and they're absolutely right. As I say, old habits died hard. Let me show you a brilliant system for debugging in Node. If I want to debug properly, or it's a complex problem and my console logging and process exiting isn't really getting to it, there is a much better way of doing it, and it's built right into Node. As you know, we start Node by giving it a file to run. And there's our random number again. But if I add this switch, inspect-brk, and then the file, watch what happens. We've got some extra information and that random number hasn't appeared. Now don't worry about what all that says right now, just follow the next stage. You need Chrome to do this, Google Chrome. So here's an empty Chrome window, and what I'm going to enter here is about inspect. We get this little page up. Look for Open Dedicated DevTools for Node and click. There's our code. Let's use a debugger to step through our code. Over in the top right corner there are some control keys that allow us to either step over functions or actually go into the functions and look at the code running, line by line. We can also set breakpoints, and then we can ask the script to continue running until it hits that breakpoint, at which point it will stop. And as you can see, all the previous functions have now had their result values populated, so we can see what's going on. Another incredibly useful feature is watching variables and objects. Again, over in the top right corner, you can add a watch expression. This is typically the name of a variable. So I'm going to use my random number, which holds the return value of that random number generator. It's currently undefined, so I'm going to add a breakpoint after it should have been assigned and run the script till it hits that breakpoint. And we can already see in the watch there, the value is now 5. When debugging a large amount of code, this is an incredibly useful feature. Well done! You're at the end of the first unit. I mean, yes, this has been mostly an introductory unit, but I hope you've got some idea of the key concepts of Node, why it's such a powerful language, that amazing module system, and now you know a bit about the tools I'm going to be using and how to debug your applications. So with all that knowledge, now we're all on the same page, we can get on and build some seriously cool stuff. On to Unit 2.